Hi everyone, my name is Mario, and today I want to show you how I built this modular porch swing. A few years ago, as I was researching porch swings, I came across this swing by Organic Swings. Since then, I have always told myself I would build my own version of this modular swing if I ever learned how to weld. Luckily, the folks over at TinkTube reached out to me and sent me some materials to make this swing. TinkTube is a customizable building system that can be used to create furniture, structures, and a variety of other things using different color metal pipes, fittings for different configurations, and a few simple tools. They also offer a featured DIY project section where you can see builds by other people to get inspiration and free plans. Check out the description below for a link to their website and for the list of all the parts I used in this build. The first thing I'm working on is this internal metal frame. This is where I'll be connecting the arm, back, and leg rest using several fittings. I used the pipe cutter to cut the tubes. This was my first time using one of these, but it was super easy to use. Twist to tighten, rotate, repeat a few times until the tube is cut. I used 4 sets of the elbow fittings and screws to make the internal frame. Once the frame was made, I began by attaching a couple of T-connectors and then cutting and assembling the armrest. This was more or less just based on the height where I felt my arm would rest comfortably while sitting. The armrests are made with 3 small pieces held together with 2 elbow fittings, and they slide into the T-connectors on the frame. I made sure to center the armrest and then copied the positions on the opposite end and along what will be the back. The backrests are similar to the armrest, but first I needed to cut a 2-inch tube that will go into the adjustable angle connectors. Each of the backrest ends have an adjustable angle connector attached to them. This way I can set the angle, tighten the screws, and be able to slide the backrest in and out of the T-connectors on the frame without having an impact on the angle of the backrest. This was just a quick little test to check that the back and armrests were able to switch positions smoothly. The next step was to work on the leg rest. This is essentially the same process as the backrest, but the T-connectors will be set facing down at an angle and they are positioned directly opposite from the backrest. I used the elbow and adjustable angle connector fittings, and also a 2-inch tube that will go into the other end of the angle connector. Now that the metal frame has been assembled, it's time to build a shell. The wood backrest was made to be about 2 inches wider and longer than the frame on each side. I cut 45-degree bevels, or miters, on the other border. I had to look it up. A miter cut is an angled cut that is not 90 degrees across the face of the board. A bevel cut is an angled cut that is not 90 degrees across the thickness of a board. Okay, so I actually cut a 45-degree miter cut on the outer border. I did the top border to the exact width I wanted, but I left the side borders long because that length would be determined after inserting the 2 back slats. I put those 2 slats inside with a pencil width spacing above and below them, and that provided the length of the sides. To assemble the outer frame, I used pocket holes and glue to attach the corners to each other. One screw and a little bit of glue on each end was enough. I used shims to raise and center the slats to the edges of the 2x4s. I repeated this with the other backrest and the 2 footrests. For the seat, I first assembled a rectangle picture frame style just slightly larger than the metal base. This rectangle was also assembled with glue and screws. Once it was assembled, I placed 2x4s equally spaced out with the face side up and screwed them into place through the sides of the seat. When the seat was complete, I turned it upside down and placed the metal base inside to mark the holes for the T-connectors. As you saw earlier, I assembled the metal base prior to assembling the seat, so I did not account for the spacing and location of the 2x4 slats. Easy fix though. I loosened the T-connectors to be in the center of the 2x4s and replicated the positions for each pair of the T-connectors. I used a small hole saw slightly larger than the diameter of the T-connectors to drill the holes through the 2x4s. I wanted the T-connectors to be just below the surface of the seat, so I took a scrap piece of wood and cut some spacers for both sides. Okay. Just have to rearrange these so I have a place to screw the clamps. There, much better. After installing the clips, I turned the bench right side up again to check the position of the backrest and the leg rests. The next thing to work on was the armrest, which consisted of 3 2x4s and 1 1x6. The top 2x4 was beveled at both ends, and the sides were beveled at one. These were assembled the same way as the armrest and the footrest. After that, I sanded the seat and the other parts. Then to protect the wood, I put on a couple coats of spar urethane with a roller. When that was all set, I reassembled the back, leg, and armrest. Because this swing was going to hang on an A-frame, I drilled some holes on the sides of the seat to insert eye bolts. 2 on each side for a total of 4. To each of those eye bolts, I clipped on a quick link. I used this little side table to rest the base while I attached the chain. It turned out to be the perfect height. Hey, sometimes when you work by yourself, you have to get creative. And this is the final product. Thanks for sticking around. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, comment, and share. And if you haven't already done so, please don't forget to subscribe. That way you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks. See you next time.